Alright, let's see if this is gonna work real quick. Okay, good. The mic's working. Let me get the actual window up here. There we go. That looks good. Yep. Alright, so welcome to part 3 of the 3D modeling project. So, I actually had to make a little adjustment since last time. Because it turns out, the objects in Blender were too small. If you don't know what that means, let me scale this down for you just to show you, demonstrate. It was like... Before, it was like... This small. And it actually needs to be this big. Because when I went to the 3D printing service to print this part, it was actually too small. So it turns out, by the way, in Blender at least, what you have to do if you're 3D printing something and working with centimeters, you gotta set the unit scale to 0.01. Otherwise, the measurements are otherwise wrong. At least in this case. So keep that in mind. If you're working with the metric system, keep that in mind as you model stuff. So last time, I actually successfully finished this part right here. I'm going to switch to rendered mode so you can see it a little bit higher quality. So I made the base of the analog stick. This is what goes into the controller itself. We have a little attachment piece up here, and I even have the part on the bottom that goes into the actual controller. This is a very specific part. Designed. It's hard to see it right in rendered mode. So let me go like solid or something. Let me change the lighting so you can see that better. If I can, anyway. It's hard to actually show this off. Let me go to, it's actually very difficult to show this off, just because of the way it works. Even if, I change the materials. Oh, no, we're not doing that. That looks trippy. Okay, it's actually very hard to show this off in orthographic, but you get the idea. There's a little peripheral port on the bottom. It looks like this. It goes into the controller. So I did all that last time. Now, I'm going to start working on the next component of the controller, which is the actual analog stick itself. So the first thing I'm going to do on this project is, first, let's get my reference back up. I already resized this particular one to where it needs to be. Oh, you know what? I actually have to grab something real quick. I gotta grab my tape measure and another controller. I gotta grab this bad boy. And let me go get my other thing real quick. I'm gonna need this later on. I'm just using the analog sticks on this bad boy as a reference. Excuse me. My next goal here in the project is to make an analog stick that's more compatible with switch peripherals, like some of the Control Freak ones, like little grips and sticks. Or any cap, really, that supports a Switch controller. That's really one of the downsides of the SN30 is its analog sticks just don't have a lot of support for peripherals, mostly because no one makes them. We're going to try to change that a little bit here today. I think I already measured this, but I'm just going to double check it. Just going to get a quick little measurement. Okay. a little slippery, so it's very hard for me to get a good... I would say it's about one of these analog stick caps on the very top of the controller. I would say is about 1.7 centimeters in diameter, not radius. I always like to measure in diameter; it's easier. Actually, I'd say it's more like 1.8. Lighting's a little tricky, so it's kind of hard to get a good read, but I'd say it's about 1.8 centimeters in diameter. That's why I double-checked my math. So now that I know this information, now I can move on to the next part of our little project here. It's very important for a project like this to do the math ahead of time. Because I already ordered the base here. So if I didn't measure things correctly, I could order a part that won't even work for what I want it to do, and it could be completely wrong. So in a project like this, you always got to do the math every time. I do mean every time. Alright, so the next thing I gotta do is I think I have another reference image I need to add in here. So I gotta add that. Shift-A. And I'm gonna then take that and add image, reference. And I'm gonna think... Shoot, which one was it? I have like a lot of these like damn things. So it's kind of hard to decipher. Ah, there's the one I want. Okay. So I'm basing this very heavily on the actual Switch Pro controller. That's obvious. Oh. Let's get the 3D cursor back to where it needs to go real quick. Shift-S, cursor to world origin. That puts it right back down here. And now I can add the reference image. Maybe a smart idea to do that. Okay. As you can see, this is very wrong. So what I'm going to do real quick is... I think I actually need to make this just the right size. So, actually, you know what I'm going to do real quick? I'm going to get rid of this. I have an idea. I'm going to go into GIMP real quick and do something real quick. There's a lot of, like, excess space to work with there, and I'd rather just not have to work with that. So I'm going to, like, just crop the content. Kind of fix it up a little bit more on this end. Crop that down to where it needs to go. You can't see what I'm doing off screen right now, but I just don't feel like switching it over. I'm not really doing much aside from sizing, just getting something sized. That's kind of boring. What I'm doing is not like that long of a process, so I'm not even going to worry too much about doing anything with it. Let me just save that. Yeah, one more time here, now that I've kind of cleaned it up and made it where I need it to be. Yep, it looks like this. Now what I gotta do is go to the actual image. I'm gonna call this empty. I'm gonna call that stick cap ref. I'm not gonna correct that. It doesn't really matter. It's just a reference image. It's not that important in terms of names. This should be 1.7 centimeters in diameter. Exactly. I'm going to move that up. I like what Blender, in new versions of Blender, I like what they did a lot with reference images, man. Because I will tell you right now, like, this is just way, way better implementation. Way better implementation of references. I can actually move stuff around more precisely. It's really nice. It is very, very nice. I will say that. That was not a thing before, so that's kind of handy. Okay. Now that I kind of have an idea. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. I want to add a little bit extra to this in the end, but let me first get started with something else. I'm going to hide these for now. What I'm going to do is I got to start working on this, but before I can move on to the actual creation of the analog stick, there's actually something I got to do first. I got to select this whole top part. I'm actually going to just temporarily, I'm going to copy this. Separate by selection. I actually don't want to permanently modify this, so I'm going to like Shift D to duplicate and separate by selection. And I should have another object right here. I'm going to move this to a different collection. This other one. And it should just leave, I'm only going to show this layer right now. So I'm just going to work with this part right here. And that's all. Now that I have this part ready to go, we're going to use this for something you're going to see in a second here. We're going to do something interesting with this. So what I need to do now is start working on creating the actual stick cap. I'll actually unhide these for now. This is already in just the right spot, but now what I have to do is do something with this first. I'm going to hide the references for now. I don't need them yet. What I'm going to actually do, I actually filled this in previously, so I'm going to go into face mode with all these little triangles and shapes like this. Yeah, it's a little bit of a boring part of the process, but it's very important to select these, but just these. Now I'm going to delete the faces. It'll also take the edges with them. Now we just have this hollow object, which again is very important. Because now what I have to do, I'm going to get rid of this measurement for a second. But now what I have to do is we're going to take this part, and I need to make a solidification to it, essentially. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this manually this time, not using the solidifier tool. I could use the solidifier tool and do it like this. Oh, it seems to bug without complex mode. Although, it seems to... that is, first of all, that is very thick. Very thick. I could use the solidifier tool like this, and that would actually work fine, to an extent. But I don't really want to do that, so we're not going to use the tool. I have my reasons for that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I got to figure out... I think I want this... Actually, I think I will have to use that, now that I think about it. I probably will have to use that, actually, so we'll come back to that. So I'm going to make the size of this particular object for the analog stick. I'm just going to leave it alone for now. And what I'm going to do is just make a copy of this and scale it out. Now, I first have to understand what the size of the object is. I'm going to go into vertex mode for this one. Drag it to the other side. So I know for a fact this is 0.5 centimeters long. Now the only issue is I don't think I want it to be the exact same size for the analog stick. That might, if I make it the same size as this, like here, like it might not fit wedge into the slot. So what I need to do is actually take this part before I even duplicate anything or anything else. I need to actually scale this a little bit. I need a calculator I created for this first. I need to figure out. I want it to be exact. I want it to be 0.51 centimeters, 0.51 centimeters in diameter. So I'll just enter the first values or my calculator. And I have, okay, now I know the multiplier. It's actually very easy. I just scale it and then make it 1.02. Except on the z-axis. We leave that alone. And that's it. Now, if I do the measurement again, it should exactly be... I can't... The 3D cursor, you're kind of in the way, buddy. Can't see my measurement. Yep, and now it's exactly 0.51 centimeters. I raise it, just increase the size just a tiny, tiny bit. It's a tiny bit, just to make sure this works. But now let's get to the next part. Now that I kind of worked with this part now. We're going to come back to this part later. I'll come back to this later. But for now, I'm going to put that aside for a moment. Because now it's time to work on the cap. Now, I already have basic measurements done for this. So what we have to do now is create a new part. So what I'm actually going to do real quick, first I'm going to get rid of this measurement. I don't need that anymore. The second thing I need to do is I'm just going to select the very bottom ring right here. If I go to wireframe, you can see that a little bit better. And what I need to do now is I'm going to take the cursor and bring it cursor to selected, and it's going to bring that right here. And now what I have to do is get out of edit mode. I'm going to make a new object. I'm for now just going to call this, it's going to be a circle. That's all we need. And this needs to be exactly 1 point. Actually, this needs to be, I don't actually know the size of this guy. So we're going to figure that out. I'm going to make this like, I don't know, let's make it 16-sided for now. It's kind of big. It's like 100 centimeters big right now, so we don't want it that big. Let's make it like a centimeter. I think 0.5. I think this is about 0.5. I'd roughly say it's 0.475 centimeters. Yeah, I would say it's about that right there. But let me get my an actual stick real quick, and let me measure that first. Now, it's safe to say this is probably an accurate measurement, considering this drawing was based directly on the actual stick. So I would say the radius needs to be... That's actually in radius, by the way. That's actually interesting. So we take 0.475 divided by 2. That is... Oh, wait, I gotta take this number. Yeah, it's 0.2375. So let me take a look at this real quick. Let me check just to make sure. I don't know what the deal is with this exactly. Because this should be, in terms of measurements, about 0.9 centimeters. 0.9 centimeters. So, and, well, it's not quite accurate. That is right. To an extent. It's very close anyway to where it's supposed to be, but... Let me just double check. It's kind of hard to say for sure. I would say it's supposed to be right about here. According to my drawing, this is what it should look like. And just to double Oh, thank you for the follow, Amaju25. I appreciate it. Should be about right. Let me just double check my other stuff real quick. I really want to make sure this is done correctly. I forgot this is a very high quality model. I'm actually not going to measure that. We're going to measure this. If I can, anyway. I don't know if it'll let me do that. It's not really letting me do it here. I'm not in edit mode, right? No, I'm in object mode. It's being a little picky, so I'm just going to, like... What I'm going to do instead, I'm just going to, like, make a new object temporarily for this. It's being a little strange. Oh, 3D cursor's in the wrong spot. Let's put that here. And then try that again. Circle. Should be right there. Make that a centimeter. Should be... I don't work in radius. I usually work with, like... I usually work with other types of measurements. I usually work with, like, the diameters. So I think I can easily get the diameter from the radius from this. Just by doing some quick maths. I think it's supposed to be 1.2 centimeters. Yep, should be about like that. Pretty close, anyway. Which should give us the diameter 1.2. Or 2.4, excuse me. So I do this. What am I drawing? Good question. I am making an analog stick cap for a particular controller of mine. To be exact, it's this one right here. I already have some like caps put on there, but they're not very good. They're just like I just glued these on. That's not very good. So I'm making something more practical and something that's more compatible with the actual controller. But I think I have the measurements I need, at least for the first prototype here. I actually already finished the base that goes into the control. Let me hide this reference. It's a little in the way. Let me just hide that too. So I already have this right here. So I have like the bottom part goes into the controller, like little stick port inside the controller. I have the base itself already finished, and this part is where you would put. I basically made the top half of the stick cap removable. That's the idea anyway. This is what it looks like so far. It's still a prototype, so it's not quite finished. So it may end up needing design tweaks later on, but hopefully it'll work on the first try. Let me hide this stuff for now. I think I can get rid of the circles. I probably don't need them right now. Oh, I don't need the one anyway. I do need this one. Move that to the other collection. There we go. Hide that. Alright, now I'll move on to the next part. So I got that measurement done. So this is about what it should look like. Now mind you, this is just this part right here. If I remove this, not that one, this one, it's just a stripped down analog stick cap. That's what this drawing is. It's just a stripped down analog stick cap. But I'm going to add a switch-esque cap on the top. And I may actually have to make the size of this a little bigger. So let me go ahead and start working on the circle. I'm also going to add a subdivision surface modifier to this. Yep. Okay. That's good. That way it's a little higher quality. Now what I have to do is I'm going to scale this up. Actually, I'm going to save this file as something else. Just so I don't override the original one too much. Now, what I got to do is I got to extrude and raise that circle up. Oh, it's actually not the right size. I think this is supposed to be, I think this is supposed to actually be a full... Oh, it's because the subdivision surface. It's changed it a little bit. Okay, I see what's happening now. So, the subdivision surface is changing that a little bit, so I gotta adapt for that. I gotta adapt to that here then. There we go. That's a little... Okay, I gotta change that auto credit. I'm not actually playing music right now. Let me turn that off. There we go. Okay, there we go. That's probably more where it should be. Now I can extrude that. Did I do that in edit mode? Hold on. I didn't. Did I do that in edit mode? Clear scale. Let me make sure I did that in edit mode. That should have been done in edit mode and not in object mode. Nope, it was edit mode. Okay, good. Good. Okay. There we go. Yeah, it's more like it. Now I can scale that up to, let's see, how many centimeters? So the cap itself, I'm going to say it's about 0.4, it's not quite 0.4 centimeters. It's more like 0.39 centimeters, I would say. That's probably what it is closer to. So I'm going to move that up, check that. Yep, that's about 0.39 centimeters. Yeah, I know this is a little more of the boring part. Let's take a look real quick. I really want to make sure I get this right the first try here. It should actually be about 0.4 centimeters. Like this. But in addition to that, I think we need to start now working on the next component. I'm actually going to move this up by 0.101 centimeters as well. And now I need to start working on the actual cap. So I'm actually going to I'm going to just duplicate this part of it here. Separate it. I'm going to make another object for now, like this. And now I'm going to start working on the cap. Yep. Okay. I'm going to hide this for just a moment just so it's not in the way. Now what I got to do is start working on this bad boy. So what I'm going to do is I guess I need to start shaping this out a certain way. I'm going to hide this reference as well. I'm just going to work on just the cap. Now I have to do something interesting as well here. I'm going to make I'm going to scale it up to about 0.45, maybe 0.455 centimeters, according to my drawing. I'm going to put the 3D cursor in the middle of that. I'm going to just undo that. And now what I'm going to do is set this object's origin to 3D cursor. Now I need to go here. I need to make a mirror modifier. Yep. And I think this needs to be on the Z-axis. Exclusively on the Z-axis. So I'm going to be basing this on the top right here. So what I need to do is extrude. And scale. What I think I'll do first there should be definitely clipping. Allow clipping. You can scale that part out. Just going to try something. Now I need to add... It should be about 1.7. What was the measurement I had for this? 1.8? In diameter? Yep, 1.8. And Z, I think, just stays the same as well. And now what I gotta do is I gotta add some edges in here. So I gotta add some edge loops. So let me do that. Add right here. No factor. And let's make that, I don't know, what do I think? Maybe 4 cuts? I'm using subdivision surface. Oh, this should actually go above that. Yeah. So I think a few cuts will do the trick. Just, oh, that's actually wrong. Let me make sure it's in the right spot here. There we go. And now I can start kind of... It looks kind of weird right now, but now what I got to do is sort of start adjusting this. Oh, that's going to be a little janky to work with. So here's what I'll do. I'm going to actually not do this in subdivision surface mode right now. We're going to do this outside of subdivision surface. I'm just going to start working on scaling each part of this to where it needs to go, like this. I might actually use the top as a reference rather than the bottom. I think I like the top better. Yeah, that looks good. Looks pretty good. I think we might need another loop, though. I think we need more loops. I think we need another loop cut right here on the bottom. Right, I'm going to take this, scale that out. Let's take a look at the subdivision surface. Very good, but does need more cuts. So there's not enough cuts here to make this work correctly, so I need to keep adding more and more cuts until we get a nice smoothed out shape. Sort of. Let me put this reference in the front rather than the back real quick. I can't see it as nicely. Let's get out of edit mode. And I'm gonna like adjust this bad boy front and make sure that's transparent enough though. Like make sure it's like 23. I can really see what I'm doing with the circle. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Actually I might make that like 0.5 actually, because I can't see it very well. So I can see these lines here, so that works. Okay. And we got another one here. I think this is another cut here. And I think we just need one more cut on the top, on the bottom here. Just one final cut here. I think we've got this very smoothed out. Now, this is not final. This is just, I'm kind of just working with it right now. Like, this is not going to be likely the final product. And there's our little cap. Now, once I smooth this out, this is going to look nice and very smooth once I add more subdivision surface to it. You can see that rounds itself out pretty nicely here. Now, the only issue is this might not be the same going forward. So I may have to actually adjust that part a little bit. Oh yeah, and also it's not quite scaled correctly. So we need to, like, excluding Z, I need to, like, scale that out a bit. And maybe make some minor adjustments to the image here. Scale and pull points until it looks exactly the way I want it to look. Really make sure to smooth out those rougher ends there. We want to scale and smooth those rough ends out a little bit more. Yeah. Something like that. Something like that. Yeah, something more like this, I feel like, is a bit more appropriate. Now, it's not going to work very well as a cap, though, because it's missing some components that are kind of important. So let me take a look at another measurement real quick. So there needs to be a 0.3 centimeters for the rim itself. So that's the only thing I haven't factored in yet is the rim, right, on the top. So this is a great start, but it might not be the absolute final product yet. So let me do a quick measurement here, starting from all the way here. I don't know if it's going to let me do that, though. No. I think what I'm going to do is flatten this out completely. I'm just going to real quick just completely make this flat. And I'm going to just do a quick measurement. I think I may have to undo the mirroring first. So I'll just apply the mirroring for now. And I'm going to just flatten this out. Should look more like this, and that's going to really help with just a rough measurement, just roughly. I'm not sure what's up with that. That's a little janky. Well, it's close. Well, instead here, real quick, I'm gonna make just make a new object entirely. Let's make it another circle, and I'm gonna make the radius of that. I think just what, 0.75. What was the radius supposed to be again? This is like what? How big is this? 1.8 centimeters. So 1.8 divided by 2. It's supposed to be 0.9, I think, ish. It's something like that. It doesn't really matter. This is just a measurement object anyway. Hide this for a moment. Okay. What's that measure? Get rid of that. Alright, very interesting stuff here. I may have to tweak some of this stuff later. So the measurements might be a little off in the cap, but right now I'm just going to focus on it's ready. I think drawing, actually, didn't I scale this up to the correct size? Or did I not do that? No, maybe I didn't do that. I think this is supposed to be a 1 point. Yeah, I think this cap may actually be wrong. Oh, let me check, though. I don't know. I don't know if I adjusted the scale of this or if I made it a certain size. I don't know what size I may have made. Oh, yeah. No, I did it. No, actually, it's wrong. It's supposed to be 1.8. Oh, I screwed that up a little bit. That's supposed to be 1.8 centimeters in size. Ooh, I messed that up pretty badly there. So I'm glad I checked, because that is very bad. Because yes, that is not good, because that is going to very much affect how that works. So let me scale that up to where it needs to go. Just scale these around as well, just to kind of get it more where I want it to be. Okay. That is where it's supposed to be. Now, I think, also, isn't the Z-axis supposed to be a little bit bigger here? Yeah, let's scale that a little more. Oh, that looks about right. At least right enough. Now, I may have to actually move both of these up a bit. I think the stick here is actually a little too small, and I think it's about, like, what, 0.1 centimeters too much. So move that up by 0.1 centimeters. It's kind of hard, because I have to make the origin, I think, on the bottom now. Temporarily. I have to make the temporary origin of this object different. I don't know how exactly I'm going to, like, align it here. I don't know how I'm going to have to probably do that after the fact. Yeah, I'm going to have to do that. Maybe I could do it now. Let's do selection to cursor, keep offset. No? I don't exactly know how I figure that out. I may have to do that later. Oh, I have an idea. Hold on, I have an idea. Maybe I can do... How do I do this with precision and accuracy here? How about selection to cursor? No. It's because these objects' origin is wrong, so we'll work on that. We'll have to do that later, because I don't think I can do that right now without messing up my process. So we'll just worry for now about the actual cap itself, not really the base of that right here. Alright, which circle was I supposed to have? This one right here? Yeah, okay. Where is it? I'm going to delete that. We're just going to make a new object. Good, okay. Now I'm going to use this circle. It's not actually part of it. Oh, no, don't make a measurement. Come on. Alright, now what I gotta do is get the measurements just right for this circle here. So, what I have to do, I think... First, let me get a measurement of the actual circle. Yep. It's about 1.8 centimeters. Or it's exactly 1.8 centimeters. And I need that to go down, I think, what was it, 0.3 centimeters? So I need to set that to 1.5 centimeters. Let me do some math real quick off screen using a tool I made. That's a very specific multiplier. That's a very specific number. So, alright, I just have to create a duplicate of this object, or this little edge. Duplicate that, moving it, and then scale it down to exactly this much. And now there should be, that should be the size of the ring. So if I get rid of this, you can see this is 1.5 centimeters, but this should be about it's about 0.15 centimeters. That should be exactly 0.3, so the math was a little wrong there. Okay. Math wasn't quite right there, so that's unfortunate. We can redo that. I think I must have done the math wrong. Okay, so this isn't diameter, right? This is diameter. Get rid of this. There we go. 1.8, right? Okay, 1.8. Nice, funny number. That is a very funny number. Of course, I would get the funny number while doing this. You'll see what that is in a second. You probably already know what's coming. Yeah, you know what's coming already. Yep. 0.69. Okay, let me get another measurement real quick. Oh, I'm doing the math wrong or something because, man, that is like just not what I need this to be. Okay, where do I need this to actually be? Okay. So I just need to add I just need to remove 0.25. Okay, so I think the circle is just supposed to be 1 centimeter long, like wide. Okay. That's easy, I can do that. Oh, okay, that's a very easy number to work with. That's just 0.8. Now, this should be, that's 0.4 centimeters. That's 0.4 centimeters. So, I need to scale this up to where it's, it didn't quite work. I think I'm doing the math wrong or something. Well, no, I did it right. The problem is I need to add, this needs to be over here. This needs to be 0.3 centimeters, not 0.4. Oh, no. Come on, measurement tool. Measurement tool, please. I can't snap this to the grid. Oh, I see where it needs to go. Okay. I think it's just 1.2 in scaling now. Okay. There we go. That's right. Alright, so that's the rim of the cap. Right here. I'm going to fill that in. Something generic. Oh, I can't do that. I'm just going to like bridge these loops together. There we go. Oh, he's a little ring now. Let me check that worked with my actual stick here. Well, it's actually very close. It's very close. I'm going to actually lift this up real quick, too. Just a little higher. Make it wireframe so I can see it. Yep, that's actually very close. That is very close to what it's supposed to be. It's not quite where it's supposed to be, but I will say it's very, very close. I'm going to have to adjust these numbers, I think. Let's see. Keep Z, leave Z alone. Now, if I do a little measurement here. Well, it's not quite right. Alright, hold on. Let me go to this other object real quick. I don't know what's happening. It's doing some stuff. I'm going to hide this. I think that should really be 1.25, right? That should be 1.25, I feel like. Remember, we are focusing... yeah, the measurements are wrong. What on earth? What happened to my nice, clean measurements? That should be like 1.25, I feel like, right? I don't know. I feel like I'm doing something wrong with my measurements here, but something's not... It's not... Come on, let me get rid of that. Changed here. What? That's not right. Okay, what's our starting value here? I think I must have done the math. I must be getting confused. Very specific number there. It's a fairly specific number once again. What the hell? What is this? What's this? Is it not snapping correctly? What's happening? I'm so confused. I thought I did this correctly. What happened here? This is completely wrong. Oh, it's not... Measurement tool, what are you doing? You're not snapping. It's the measurement tool that's doing it. Okay. Yeah, look, it's not snap... What is this? Explain... Measuring tool, can you explain yourself, please? Why are you not snapping correctly? Okay. Well, that's really weird. It didn't, like, want to snap. I am so confused right now. I am so confused as to what's happening right now. Okay, well, that is absolutely correct. I honestly am a little confused as to why it just outright is refusing to snap to the little vertex and the vertices here. I don't know why it's refusing to do that, but okay. We have our measurements, though. We have what we need. That was weird. I don't know why it did that. Like, that was not the intended behavior. Alright, so this circle should be... I don't know why it's outright refusing to cooperate here. It's so weird. It's so weird. But man, wow, it's really... Wow, it is really not cooperating now. Like, it really just does not... Oh, I'm selecting the wrong ones, I think. Like, it just really does not want to play nice here. Okay. I have what I need. Alright, go to bottom view then. I think that's why. Yep. Okay, it's not playing nice. I don't know what to do here. It's not playing very nice. Apply mirroring then, I guess. Let's see if that fixes it. It's still... I think it's snapping itself to something different here. It's like... It's snapping itself to the non-subdivided version, which is wrong. Okay, so that's how we're going to play. Well, that's no good. I kind of need the subdivision surface. It's kind of important, so I don't want to like guess here. But it is really hard to know what I'm doing if the math is wrong. I don't know why. I don't know why it's not snapping to the subdivided version. Like, that should be pretty normal here. I don't know why on earth it's not playing nicely with this. I don't know why it's doing that, per se. I will say this, it's very annoying. It is very annoying. Alright, so we'll just apply the subdivision surface then. in order to get the size of the circle in its current diameter. So I'll have to write this down. Very, very strange. Very, very strange. Okay. I don't know why it's behaving this way. I don't know why it does that or why it works like that. It's kind of strange. Very, very weird, but okay. I think this is supposed to be 1.2. Let me real quick copy that value we currently have. This is like the really boring part, by the way, of this process. It's just like dozens of like number crunches and just a bunch of weird stuff. Like it's all just number crunching right now, which is honestly the least fun part, least fun part to watch anyway. So this is like probably the worst time to like watch in theory. And now if I apply these now, okay, which should happen, is this should be exactly, here we go. It's already doing weird stuff. It's already doing weird stuff. Uh-oh, that's wrong. Okay, hide, no. Okay, there we go. Oh my goodness. It just does not want to play nice. Wow, it just does not want to play nicely here, does it? No, wow, I'm not even exaggerating. It does not want to it just does not want to measure the way it's supposed to. Like, it really doesn't. I think I know what's happening, though. I think I know what's happening, actually. Yeah, I know what's happening now. So what's happening, I think it's measuring the wrong... It's still off. It's still doing weird stuff when I don't apply it. But I think it's trying to measure, like this again. I had this issue last time, too. It's trying to do this. Like, diagonal weirdness. That's not at all how I want that to measure that. Okay, yeah, I know what I did wrong now. That was my fault, partly. Okay. I think that's actually the real measurement. Alright, so that's the actual value. That's the actual value. Alright, strange, but we can work with that. I think this is supposed to be 1.2, right? I'm going to copy that. Okay. Just some off-screen maths. Okay, if I scale this by exactly this number, it should give me the result I want, right? Hey, thanks, measurement tool, not snapping. Thanks for that. I really appreciate you not snapping where you're supposed to go, but thank you. Yep, that's exactly the value we want. Okay, cool. I gotta actually get out of this because what I don't want to do is apply these yet. That's the last thing I want to do. But we already know what to do now. I just gotta scale. Whoops. I guess unhide everything else for now. Because nothing's been applied yet, so I'm just gonna scale that by exactly that number right here. Except for Z. We don't need anything Z. And this should be the exact size of where it should go. I also just realized mirroring this might not have the intended results. And I'll explain that in a little bit here. Okay. That's exactly the way I want it. Now what I have to do is I have to, that's actually about the right size. Let me just apply some stuff and check that. But that should be exactly the right size now. I'm going to just select one of these rings. Hide everything else. Get a measurement. Well, it's close. Well, that's not right, though. No, it's still not correct. Okay. It was very close, though. It was very close. But it was a little bit off. It was a little bit off. But it's just a little bit off point, though. So I think we need to do another... I'm going to do another calculation with this number. Actually, that's very off. When I think about it, like that is supposed to be 1.2. Did I enter the wrong value, maybe? That is very, very off, though, from the math it's supposed to be. That's supposed to be exactly 1.2 centimeters, I believe. I think, was it 1.3? No, it's supposed to be 1.3. So it was very close. It just wasn't quite on the mark. It was very close, though, I will say. It was very, very close. But it wasn't the right measurement. That needs to be... I want it to be exactly a certain number. I know it's a little bit of an OCD sort of moment. Don't really have to... I could probably keep that, but honestly, I'd rather just have this be correct the first try. Not sure why that didn't really work the first time. Also, is this minus or plus? I think that's plus, so we just add that much. Except in Z. Now, if I apply these, it should be the right measurement, right? Like, if I hide just this ring, and then do this. Oh my gosh. Why? Why are you like this? Why are you like this, my friend? Why are you like this? Am I doing something wrong here? What am I doing wrong? I don't get it. That should be exactly 1.2. I'm so confused. Hold on, let me test something real quick. I want to test something. Because that should have been, from what I did, that should have been exactly where I wanted that to go. Oh, I entered something completely wrong in my calculator here. My specialized calculator tool thing. I feel like something's not happening correctly here. Like I'm entering the numbers, but it's not doing what it's supposed to do, though. I'm gonna scale just this circle, okay? I'm just gonna scale just this circle. By that much. Okay? It should be exactly 1.2 centimeters. It's what is it doing? Oh no. Not this stuff again. No. Just this one, please. Okay, that's why it was wrong. Okay, that's right, though, now. I don't know. Why is a measuring thing down? Hide the references. Hide the references. Whoa. Okay. What? What are you doing down there, buddy? No. Up. Buddy, what's happening here, man? You're not going to the right spot. You're not... What? What's down here? I don't even... There's no... What is it doing? There's nothing down there. What? Why was it... What? I beg your pardon? I am very confused. This measuring tool is misbehaving. And it's misbehaving a lot. I have I have lost control of this. I have no idea what's happening. Like, I couldn't tell you what's happening right now. Why the measuring tool is just being so weird. Like, I literally am using snapping here, and it's not doing it to the right object. Like, what is this? Like, why is it down here? Can I just ask, like, why is it measuring a bunch of nothing right now? Like, okay. I am just very confused. I'm just very, very confused. Like, I am trying to make sense of this, but to me, this is not making sense. Like, this is not making sense to me. Like, why is it measuring the wrong stuff? It's like measuring things incorrectly. I don't know what's happening with that. Let me hide this, actually. Let me try something. I'm going to use the bottom circle instead. I don't know if that's going to change anything. Well, let's see if it does. Why are you like this, my friend? Why are you like this? I'm trying to wrap my head around what is happening with the measurements here, like what the measuring tool is doing, but it's like it has its mind of its. It's like it has a mind of its own. It is. I'm not even joking. It's literally just kind of doing whatever it wants to do. I have no idea remotely what is happening anymore with this. I have no idea. I don't even have a slightest clue. It's like it's like misbehaving so much. And it's very annoying because I need the measurement tool to do very, very precise measurements, and it's misbehaving very much. And these need to be very precise for a project like this, and it just doesn't want to play all that nice. Like, I don't know why it's doing that. Why is it measuring up there? That's supposed to be measuring. No. Let me move the references just completely out of this collection for a moment. Let me see if that fixes it. Is it the references getting in the way? I think it was. Actually, I think it was the references getting in the way, so I just moved them out of here for now. But I think the references are getting in the way of the measurements. I think that's what's happening. That's very weird. That's very buggy. I'm not sure why it behaves that way, but oh well, I figured out a workaround. It's a very odd workaround at that, but at least it's a workaround. Okay, so theoretically speaking, if I scale this by a certain number, it should work exactly as I want it to. I have a multiplier now. Just to be safe, I'm going to write that number down manually. It's a very big and very specific number. But in theory, if I do this exact number, and if I apply everything, just make sure the references are out of the way for a second. Hide everything else. This should exactly... What are you doing? Oh my gosh, please stop with that. That is very annoying. What? What? What are you trying to measure? I don't understand. What is it measuring? Okay. You know what? I'm just going to delete everything else at this point. I'm just going to delete everything. I think the normals might be wrong too, but... Okay. Yep, that worked. Okay, so I think it was, even though I hid everything, it was still measuring the unhidden objects, which is very bizarre behavior. But it's very strange how it works that way, but it works. I did fix it. Okay, we're going to go back to mirroring. I might actually apply the mirroring, though. I'm not going to apply the... Let me just double check my other... Where's my other circle object? Do I have that still? Where is that? Yeah. Not this one. Was it? It's this one. Yeah, it's this one. Let me just double check this, because I feel like maybe if it was being weird with that other thing, maybe it was weird with this too. Nope, it works fine for this one. That's weird. Okay. Well, thanks, Blender, but weird. But okay. Good though. That's good. It's done. It's pretty much done anyway. Okay. There's not much left to this actually. There's really not. We don't have much to go in terms of the actual components now. The only thing I have to do now, though, is I do actually have to apply the mirror modifier. I'm going to remove doubles as well, just to make sure that is the way... Let's delete loose. It's not delete loose, although that's a good idea, too. That's a good idea as well, but no. It's merge by distance, and it should be very small distance, like I'd say 0.01. Maybe up that a little more. Okay, nope. There are no loose vertices, no disconnected components. Everything is the way it's supposed to be. Let me just also, real quick, for the edges, or vertex? I don't know exactly what that is. Let's do normals. Recalculate outside. Yep, there we go. That's what it should look like. We want those normals to be sticking out like this. But now, it's time to figure out... Now, at this point, I think this is just going to be... I'm not going to do exact math here. This is a very small margin. So I'm just going to do something imprecise here for this part. I'm not going to do anything super fancy. I'm not going to do any more complex math. I'm just going to kind of make my own thing at this point. Also, copying this just has better quality results, so we'll keep that in mind. I'm going to save this as well, in case anything goes wrong. Now, the bottom circle here actually doesn't need to be the same size as the top here. Like, this is going to be probably scaled in further and have more loops, just to make sure it like can connect to a certain piece. But the bottom's not going to look the same, not going to function the same. So the top here, let's get to the top here, part here. So this will also have to be solidified later, because I have to actually make this a solid object. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to extrude this bad boy down a bit. Let's do 0.05 centimeter. Let's do like, you know what? Let's go E and then 0.05. Let's do a whole 0.1 centimeters lower, right? Let's just make it a whole centimeter lower. And then if I go into wireframe, it's a little hard to tell exactly where it is. You can kind of see it right here. That's pretty deep. That's about, I want it to be kind of deep, so by default, you're getting a nice little kind of good grip on the stick itself. Instead of just the default stuff. The default stuff is fine. But I really want it to be deep so you can really feel the benefits of the stick itself. So now what I have to do is add on some edges. I'm going to add a couple loop cuts to this part right here. Don't move it at all, but I'm going to make it just 2 cuts right here. And what I'm going to do now is take one of these cuts. I'm going to do an edge slide. And what I'm going to do is move it as close, negative 0.1 or negative 0.9 for this one. And the other one, I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to do something similar for this one. 0.9 or negative 0.9, I guess. Without the smoothing, it looks like this. With smoothing, it looks like this. So it keeps that flatter, right? Especially if I up the quality of this, that's really going to make a difference. You can see that now happening now. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do another extrusion right down here on this loop only. And I'm going to zoom that out a bit. I'm going to like do, I don't know, E and then scale that to about, I'm going to say, let's make that 0.8 in scaling. This doesn't have to be precise. Necessarily, this doesn't have to be as precise. However, I do need to add an additional loop cut here. Yeah, let's make that 0.9 of a factor. That way, you can see here this stays flat as possible. And I'm just going to like roughly scale this down to about what looks even. At this point, we're getting into territory that's not really as precise. So I don't even know if we need necessarily this many loops. I have some plans for this as well. And this is just a prototype stick too. Like, this isn't really super important. Actually, I think we need a lot. Actually, we're going to need a lot of edge loops, I think, for this to work. I'm going to do like a first very simple prototype. So let's get rid of these edges. Actually, I'm going to undo some of those extrusions I made. Really scale that down. A lot. Just a whole bunch. As close as I can really get for now. And I'm going to add just a heap ton of loop cuts. I'm going to add like 10. Let's add like, this is going to be a lot of geometry though. So for now, let's say 5, right? Let's do 5, because if I subdivision surface this and apply it, that number is going to go up rapidly. You can see right here. Also, I'm going to turn off the view of having normals here, because that's a little distracting. How do I do that? I'm going to hide the normals, because that's very distracting. But you can see on a lower level, when I add all of those cuts, we're going to have a lot of little vertices here to sort of work with on a much smaller level. Almost too much even in some ways. So that may even be a little too much in some ways. But just the final concept here, you can see that. Now, is there a way I can change the selection? Like maybe I can select random. Selection, check or deselect. Yeah, we can do this. And then I can do this. I don't want to necessarily add super amounts of spikes, but we could like do little holes. It's hard to see that without like certain shading. I'm kind of just right now I'm just kind of experimenting with maybe how I can make some holes or certain things like that. I think this actually might be too detailed. Oh, please let me... Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. It's not letting me undo the subdivision surface. Please don't tell me I lost progress. Oh, no. It's not letting me undo stuff. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, I don't know how much progress I lost. Let's revert. Let's open the last one. Oh, I don't know how much. Oh, I think I lost a lot of progress, bro. I think I lost a lot of progress. Yeah, I lost some good progress there, unfortunately. I don't know what my undo buffer is. It's way too low. It's way too low. My undo buffer is way too low for this. I don't know what autosaves. What autosaves do I have? Okay, that's not a good autosave. That's not a good autosave. Any other autosaves that don't suck? Nope. Aren't there supposed to be, like, way more autosaves, though? I think it's the lost cause in this case. I can't just go back. That's very unfortunate. The only other... This is a very old autosave. That's not going to be helpful. Okay, so I don't know what happened there. I don't know what exactly went wrong there, but I think the issue is for some reason Blender is not in the settings there's not enough undo. And because of that, yeah, there's not enough undo steps. Because of that, I did not have the option to go back. So that's very, very odd behavior. I mostly remember what I did, though, so I can just kind of do a little bit of work. I'm going to save before that next time, too. Just really make sure that nothing gets messed up. Very odd behavior. Very strange. I should make that very flat. Scale that down. Let's add another loop. Another loop cut. 0.9, so it's just very close to the edge, so it looks very flat. Even when being smoothed out, that should look like this. Now, I don't know if I want the circle to be that small in the center. I want it to be actually as small as possible. As small as I can get it, really. It's going to be filled in later. I'm actually going to do fill. Looks a little jank, but it works. Now I'm going to add an additional loop cut here. We'll just do 3. Let's just do just 3 loop cuts for now. Let's see how that looks. I'm going to save before applying this. Oh yeah, I want to hide the normals because that's a little bit annoying right now. You see it's very detailed. So if I select any one of these rings, I want to experiment with like gripping and adding some extra gripping stuff to this, just so it like works better. Or like a hand, just so right out of the box it'll have some better gripping stuff. Maybe this might even be too detailed, honestly, that sort of thing. That creates an interesting shape, doesn't it? Creates a very interesting shape here. I don't think there's any automatic tools for this, per se, but there are a lot of loops. I would say maybe too many loops, even. I would say add maybe just 1 loop cut. And then apply. I don't want too much. Okay, that's not enough now. I want like maybe 2 loop cuts here. When I really scale that up, it's going to create a lot of stuff. I'm going to like just select all this stuff. I'm going to experiment with a little look real quick I want for this. So let's try 0.01 Z. Deselect, then 0.01 Z. Boop boop, G 0.01 Z. Boop boop. Z. Again. Boop boop. 1 Z. Boop. Z. I don't know if those lines are deep enough, per se, but hey, it's a good concept. Plus, you get this neat little shape in the bottom, too. Look at that. That looks cool. It looks cool, too, honestly. Like, it really does. I don't know if those are tall enough, though. I may have to, like, make those taller, for instance, or deeper. But, you know, it looks good. It's a good start, at least, in terms of gripping. And gives me some ideas, too. Gives me ideas. So I'm going to experiment a little bit more with that later. But I have a lot of neat ideas. Let me make sure the stream's actually not bugging out. We had a little incident last time. No, we're good. Alright, I'm going to go use the restroom real quick, but we will be right back. Alright, I'm back. And let's move on to the rest of this little project here. So there's not much left to go at this point, honestly. Most of the project it's more or less, at this point, more or less finished. So I have an idea. I don't know if this is too deep, but we'll see. Here's what I'm going to do. I like how the smoothing out makes that a very unique shape. It's very different. I have an idea. Can we unfill this by chance? Yeah, I have an idea. I have an idea for that little guy. I'm going to take 3... Whoops. In the middle of this circle, I want to do something interesting. This isn't like This isn't really a important aspect of the design, but rather it's an optional element that makes it look cool. It's just a cool detail that I'm going to do real quick. I'm going to select this just little loop right. Oops. Selection cursor is selected right here in the middle. And what I'm going to do, first I'm going to hide the references for just a moment. Everything else. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just do something interesting. I'm going to create a new object in edit mode, like a plane. I'm just going to make that like 0.1 centimeter, like maybe just size doesn't really matter here. The most important thing is to make it small enough to where it will work. So what I need to do is I need to actually just, actually yes, I do need to add an edge loop here. And that's it. Now what I'm going to do is just take this point here. I'm going to hide this circle for just a moment. And get rid of this point and this point, and we're going to delete those vertices. So now, I should only have, we can dissolve that vertice as well, or delete it. We should have a triangle like this. Let's select that triangle. Let's bring that selection to cursor offset. Maybe. I'm not sure why it's not going to work. Let's separate. I have an idea. Let's select this and separate it by selection real quick, just temporarily. Let's make the origin of the object, I guess, geometry. Let's see. Okay, selection. Oops, cursor is selected. Is it? That's not really the middle, right? That's not really the middle, though. No, that's not really the middle, though. That's not the middle. Let's do center of mass. Yeah, center of mass. In selection to cursor. This triangle is a little funky. In general, the triangle should fit into 0, y. Make sure I select the 3D cursor. So if I move, for example, this up here on the y-axis, if I scale it down, y is 0. I'll go straight to the 3D cursor. I'm going to do this. Selection to cursor. Oops, cursor selected, excuse me. Top part here. Cursor, selection, cursor. That triangle, this little triangular object. Now if I make that bounding box center, it should fit. I think at least in theory, it should fit in the circle, I think. It should fit in the circle directly in the center. Let me make that object center of mass. 3D cursor, selection to cursor. Oops, not selection to cursor. Let's make that cursor to selected. And this should be selection to cursor. Something's not right though, right? It doesn't feel right. I don't know, does it feel centered? Maybe it is. I don't know. I think it doesn't feel right though. Like, to me, something doesn't feel right about that. I don't know what it is. Something's, like, off-putting. I guess now what I'm going to do is select this and this, these edge loops. I'm going to use a tool to kind of, like, get these to merge together. I'm going to scale that circle out a bit. Select that loop and this loop. I'm going to use a tool. I'm going to use the bridge edge loop. Oops, it didn't do it. Deselected it before I did it. That should be considered a single loop, right? If I extrude this, I don't know if I want to fill this in yet. Let's go to face select mode. Let's get rid of the face only. Or only, get rid of, like, delete only face. So it leaves the edges behind. Now I should be able to select this and bridge that together. Yep. And then I can just use the fill tool for that. That might look pretty freaking cool. Maybe, when it's done. That'll look pretty cool, I think. Maybe. It might not actually work the way I think it's going to, but oh well. It's still a cool idea. But once I add those other edge loops, we'll see how it works. The triangle, it actually became a circle. Uh-oh. That's not what I want. Yeah, that's not exactly what I had in mind. In creating this, it's not what I intended to have happen, but I guess the way it's doing this, it's like rounding it out almost. I don't know how exactly we would, like... I don't know how exactly one gets around this situation, right? How does one get around that sort of problem? As you can see, I'm extruding it here. It doesn't really do any good. But I think I know what's happening. I think I know how to solve that issue. So what I'll do, instead of, like, doing that, what I'll do is separate our triangular object I'm going to delete the cleanup. Merge distance. Yep. There we go. So I think what we'll have to do is we'll separate our triangular object from the rest of the mesh. So when I smooth this out and add the edge loops, or the cuts, here's what I'm thinking. We then apply that nice, smooth detailing here. If I hit apply, right? Now what I can do is select the rest of this little analog stick part here. I'm going to do that thing I thought about doing earlier, where I like bring certain parts up and down. Let's give it a try. But you know, a good idea before I apply that, let's save. And then apply it. So I'm going to move part, start right about here, I'd say. Let's move that up. Actually, let's actually start this component being higher up. How about here? Let's make that like 0.01, maybe even a quarter centimeter up. Actually, even less than that. I go 1 and 2. I go down. It'll be too deep. There we go. What I'm doing is I'm lowering the selection and then alternating between raising the bevels here and lowering them. Even though I have my own accessories I'm planning to use, like that are a little bit different from this. I want this to also maybe have some sort of compatibility right out of the box. I may actually have to even make these a little bit steeper. Maybe more steep, actually. Yeah, let's make that steeper. And it's just basically doing a same looping pattern over and over again. Until we get to like the very center-ish. Creating this sort of like little bezeled design, almost like this little convex design. Like this. This is theoretically could add better gripping, in theory anyway. I like that. Now, I had an idea, of course, for this. Which you're probably about to see. You probably see what I'm already up to. Let's bridge that together. I guess I need to add like a loop cut. I don't think I can do that here. Let me get rid of the center point here. And EZ a little bit. Let me like scale that out by 0, like 0.1, 1.1 maybe. And then, yeah. Like that. Let's do face. Let's do grid fill. No, it doesn't work with grid fill. We just do regular fill. I don't know if that'll actually do any good though. I'm sure it's on the same level. Let's worry about that. The only thing is I feel like can't really like see you can't see like the detail. Not by 3D cursor anymore. Let's just do everything but Z. Run some cleanup real quick. There's no loose edge or no loose anything. That's good. Let's do merge by distance. Doesn't seem like there's anything that has to be merged. Maybe. Although there may actually have been some duplicates somewhere. Maybe. It's really hard to tell, though. I don't know what I did down here. I must have messed something up down here. There might have actually been some actual, like, for-real duplicates, like, in places. Yeah, merge by distance. Nope, that was it. Okay. I'm going to save real quick. I like how this looks, honestly. It is just a prototype. It can be tweaked later as well. So if I don't, even if I don't like how this particular one came out, I can adjust it. Okay. I'm like, what? Surprise me. Alright, I guess I gotta start working on the actual stick. I was so actually, now that I think about it, I was pretty caught up in the design. So much, in fact, kind of forgot about this part right here. And how I'm going to attach it to this. I guess let's start by focusing on what I want to do with this in particular. Like for starters, the bottom of this should be exactly where the cap is here. I think an easy way to get that aligned is I select the bottom of this, bring the cursor to it. Then I just take the cap, I make the origin the 3D cursor, temporarily. Then I select this ring, cursor selected again. And then all I gotta do is bring up cursor to, or selection cursor. And now, that, well, did it do it? I don't know if it did it. There we go, it did now. And now, this part of the stick is right here. Now, all I gotta do now is actually change the origin to, I guess, like the center of mass. Or maybe the geometry. Let's do geometry for this one. Now, I guess I gotta now. I get out a wireframe for one. Now I gotta think about how this is gonna work exactly. There's a lot of parts that need to be really connected here. So I'm going to make that 3. So it's very smooth, kind of like the cap itself. And we're going to need to essentially attach this later. I may even have to smooth this out and maybe this out again. Depending, I may have to smooth this out pretty heavily so it's nice and round. But we'll see exactly what I'll have to do here later. I may also want to like raise this just a little higher than the stock cap here. Also, in addition to that, I also want to add some better gripping to the actual analog stick here. So let's start the... Here's what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to take the center stuff here. If I can select the right edge, that'd be nice. There we go. I'm going to select all this stuff. And I'm actually going to like all the way, I would say, up to here. I'm going to hide it. Leaving only the base stick itself. So what I'm going to do is select everything. And select none of it. It's not going to be too easy, is it? This is approximately the absolute center, right? My idea is to add very small I do mean very small amounts of space in between the sticks like this. Let's skip a couple. 1, 2. I make a pattern like this, right? It's a little bit of work. But the idea is to add, at least in theory, as much built-in gripping as much as possible. By doing this, we can really focus on making sure that it has good built-in gripping in case, like, I would like to use, say, the built-in sticks. That I printed instead. Let me count that out. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8, 9. That's 9 exactly. I think that's good enough. And I just scale all that down to 0.99. Now, I may have done maybe a little too... Oh, I think I spaced some stuff wrong. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see what I did. Yeah, yeah, I see what I did now. Gotta make sure you give it plenty of space there. Should be right. That adds a little extra grippage. I don't think that's an actual word, but oh well. I just made it one. To the stick itself, which should add a little extra traction, or give it better traction overall when using your hands. Now, again, this is just a prototype. It's not the final product necessarily. This might not even be something I want to use. Well, though, I feel like it's a little too much going on here. So let's remove, like, every other row from this. I'm going to go ahead and just remove every other row. What did I do wrong here? What went wrong here? Let's see. I must be doing something wrong. Undo all that, please. I'm so confused.
Let's do mustard. Let's do mustard and ketchup, please.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Oh, that's why. Three, 4, 5. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? Okay, 11. Let's do one at a time. I'm a little confused, to be honest with you. I think I'm starting to get what's happening here. I actually don't want this middle one, then. I'm just going to undo all this. I don't like how that came out. Let's leave a little more in between, like this. A little more in between, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in between. I wish I could do, honestly. It's like select different rows. Like, different, like, rows instead, and, like, doing, like, just something like that. I have an idea. Make this a little bit faster and a little easier. Gotta figure out something real quick first. I think we got the right idea here. We got the right idea. I may honestly have to... I gotta actually get going. So I may actually have to work on this another time. It's close. It just needs some work. You know, I don't even know if I'm really going to add those grips. I don't even know if it needs it. I'll see. I don't think it might not even need it, depending. So I may honestly come back to this. I might redesign this and maybe come back to it later, depending. Is there like a modifier I can use for this instead? I don't know. Well, I have a general idea of what I want it to be, which is a good start. But I think I'm going to come back to it, maybe revise some things later as well. So I'll make it just a prototype for now, and just maybe make it the first one. So what I'll do, I think I'll just apply this. Yep, I'm on the way. I think what I'll do just to make this easier for later, so I can just get it ordered quickly. I think what I'll do is join all this together. And I'm gonna like just bridge these edge loops. First, I might actually, before doing that, let's recalculate all of the normals. Now let's do that linear. And I might add a couple, 1 to 2, maybe few cuts. Let's add 10 cuts in there. Let's clean up merge at distance. Get rid of any doubles, for example. Anything that might be a problem. And let's also mesh normals and recalculate the outside of that. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to fill this in right here. I'm going to also bridge these together. And I'll add a cut or two. What's it doing? Oh, I guess we need to like fill this in first. I think with Alt F. And then we can I can fill that in. So let me wrap this up. Go ahead. I was talking to my sister for just a moment. Right there. So that's what I was up to. I just have to wrap this up, but it is giving me a little trouble. Go into edge mode and just unselect these edges. I don't need... It's a little tricky. It's not making it easy. I'm going to hide the references too. I don't need those right now. But it's making it hard to select these edges here. It's not letting me really do it too well. I'm going to try my darndest here, but it is not giving me an easy time with these edges. So I'm just going to go like this. And I'll probably work on this. I may have to revise a couple of design aspects of it. I just really have to raise it up too, now I think about it. So I actually may have to come back to this later. So I might actually have to revise some things before it's like ready. I don't want to like rush this. I don't really want to rush this necessarily, so I may have to just come back later and and revise some stuff later. So yeah, we'll have to come back to this later, I think. I'm coming. Yep, I think I'm going to have to come back to this later, as I think I need to rework this a little bit later. But I think with that said, thank you for watching today's stream. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.